The return of Christ. Prophecies and revelations given to Luz de Maria. Isaiah chapter 66 verse 18. The time is coming to gather all nations and tongues. And they shall come and see my glory. Matthew chapter 24 verse 27. For just as the lightning comes from the east and flashes even to the west, so will the coming of the Son of Man be. Revelations 22:12. Look, I am coming soon. My reward is with me, and I will give to each person according to what they have done. The history of humanity is a constant history of uncertainties, hardships, and triumphs. Nevertheless, there is something of which man can be certain and which he has simultaneously brushed aside, ignored, and to which man consciously remains indifferent. We are referring to the second coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. Announced by the mouth of the very Christ who tells us, I come with power, the sky will open and the one who has not desired to see, will see me, because there will not be an eye that escapes my omnipresence. My legions, thrones, dominions and powers along with my entire house will descend to announce me. And when I show myself, the sun itself will be eclipsed by the light of my majesty. The earth will shake announcing my return. For nothing will remain immutable before the arrival of the King of heaven and earth. What is visible and invisible will be shaken before him who was, is, and will be Lord of all that existed, exists, and will exist. From the bowels of man to the bowels of the earth and all that exists, they will know the King of glory comes with his scale in hand, because the time for mercy will have run out, not on the part of our Lord Jesus Christ, but because man has desired it so. Let us see the signs of our era are those which were announced as preparation for the second coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. Let us not allow the blindness of the human conscience devastated by what is worldly to darken any longer our conscience and lead us to perish eternally. Is this not reason enough for man to once and for all be conscious about what has kept him in total indifference, out of ignorance in some cases, or out of convenience in others? For it is until the unthinkable last breath of life, that the divine mercy in its inexhaustible love for souls, gives itself to the human person so that the person attains salvation. But once life is extinguished and the instant is spent, Christ will come like a thief in the night, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 2, and there will be no return for man. He will not attain what he has despised. He will not even be able to gather the scraps from the table, because he will have marked his destiny. Since Christ breathed out his Spirit and then resurrected, since that instant the preparation for the second coming began. The first disciple of her Son, our Blessed Mother, to her, the Mother of the Second Coming, is to whom has been entrusted the fight against the enemy of man, to rescue and accompany man and announce to all creature that her Son returns to separate the wheat from the chaff, that he returns to gather the harvest and to measure the fruit each one of us holds in our hands. Let us receive with love and true awareness this reality. That Christ returns as King of all creation. And that for each man it may be a reason for urgent change and joy in the face of the hope that every fight and every effort are not in vain. Let us be conscious that every generation has found its measure and ours is not the exception.